Uh, Today's Rohit's birthday, Rohit Vimala's birthday. So I would start speaking, with his way of thinking. So I would answer a question with somehow going back to the whole concept of humanity. As I'll start from the cave, where the cave people first decided to draw, and they were hunters and gatherers, and there were some people who were drawing, and the what they were drawing was what they were seeing around them. So they were drawing bulls, and these bulls had really nice curves. It felt like it is something which is going to be juicy, or might be edible or something. They drew horses, and you can see them in India. You do not have to go far. You can go to Madhya Pradesh and Bhimbetka and just go inside and see these observations that these cave people first started to document in a way. So this is unlike how various religions and kingdoms claim that they were started in cave, and they do not have any proof of it. Art actually emerged from these caves, and since they were drawing these juicy bulls and these exotic animals, larger than life, larger than themselves, they were also drawing these animals who because of whom they were vulnerable, animals such as lions and other carnivorous animals, and they would not forget, making those sharp teeth. So you see, how they are, giving character to different things that they are observing around. From there, they decided to settle down, and then when they settled down, they continued to draw. There was no superpower that came, that spoke to them, that you have to draw for the love of God or anything. There was no scripture written back then, so they were just drawing because this was the most human thing that they could do. They settled, they made farms, but they kept drawing. They settled into tribes. They drew for communities. They drew for their own tribe. They drew the laws of their tribes. But they continue to draw, on the walls of their houses, of their huts. As we move forward, religions were established and kingdoms were established, but people continue to draw. Even in the Roman Empire, when what we call propaganda was at the highest, there were people, whom we now call graffiti artists, would just go in these noble houses and palaces and these public in these property of kings, and they would do graffiti around over it. So but they still do for the kings and for the religions as well. We move forward, we saw this new world coming up. We saw an enlightenment era. We somehow started to break through the shackles of our masters, who were because of whom, because under whose lashes we were actually working. So we actually started to enlighten ourselves, and it happened in different parts of the world. And soon technology came, industrialization came, and people thought that some people will be free, and then new technological slaves actually entered. But then artists actually got a bit of freedom from their masters, who were keeping them under their lashes for their own propaganda. And but later we saw printing press. Now the printing press was first conceived by only the noble people or the high position people. But then later, it during the Great Wars, we see that there were publishing houses that were being run from the from the basement of houses. So there were small printing machines that came out, and there were pamphlets, there were posters, and there were dissent, which was now very common. Now people can be anonymous about their dissent as well. Now they do not have to take this very high risk of going out and writing on the wall and vandalizing the public property, which was morally wrong as per a lot of people. With printing press, soon everybody was allowed to read, and everybody was allowed to get educated. So you see on your table, you have Socrates, you have Plato, you have Confucius, you have Buddha, you have Gramsci, you have Nietzsche, you have Ambedkar, you have Baldwin. you have everybody, you have all the free thinkers. Now you, the cave person that you were once drawing those things which looked tasty or edible to you, and things that were dangerous for you, they followed their same instinct. And now we are not we are not vulnerable from lions. We have just digits of lions left in the places where they used to rule. So now the evil has changed, and but we are the same cave people. We are the same people with the same mentality, and it's only natural that we draw what we see evil to us. And now that evil is this concept of equality, because men, uh, people have been through, everybody around the world have been through this long suppression, long oppression of giving out their ideas. There were witch hunters in the West, but in India also, the Dalits would not be allowed to read scriptures. So there was a huge amount of people who were kept away from knowledge. And now, since that knowledge is being given to a lot of people, it's only natural that they will uh, uh, make what is evil according to them and what is good according to them. Now, I find it very natural. One thing that I find unnatural is when people sit inside their thick walls without windows, and they draw these high the pets and exotic plants, and while their neighbor's house is burning. And I find that unnatural. So I think it is uh, inevitable that our masters, they are still masters. So these masters will not let go of us so easily. And you can see in the West, in US, there are recent protests of faculties from art department, because they're not hiring uh, uh, more people in the universities for permanent jobs. They're not giving them proper remunerations for the work. So there are a lot of freelance academicians who are in arts, who are who do not have any benefits, any permanent benefits as an academician, that like anybody else. But I think people are afraid, because artists are the people who are just honest about what is evil, and what is friendly, or what is not evil. So this distinction is, everybody can see. If you're an artist, if you're an artist truly from the heart, you know that something wrong is happening. You have twice or thrice more emotions. So when you see a child having kwashiorkar, with really thin hands and legs, and then this really fat belly, and you see those people in on the street. And if that doesn't break your heart, if that doesn't make you observe and point out that evil which has made that happen, so I think you're not an artist. You're just a clerk. You're just somebody who has got a skill, and you're just earning money out of that skill. You're not thinking beyond it. So I think this is a very natural process that we are going through, and I know that we are going to get lashes from the masters, but we have no other choice. It's a continuous struggle for us, and I think this is the only way we can survive.